third game where he comes in, but for now, just gets to relax in the back row.
And then Operation Find Trace, a champion he can carry on, continues. The Nara was fine, but just was never really going to think to the next step. He's not a player that applies great lane pressure, and you're against the best top laner in the league, so that's awkward.
It'll probably continue to have not much success.
I wonder what the second ban will be for Rockstar.
Shen already off the board. Elise is gone, so taking that one away.
Goodbye, Trundle.
And goodbye, Nidalee, of course, because
now
that would be one of the worst things you could do is give Peanut that champion.
We talked about this before the series. There was an outside chance you give them Trundle and then give Smeb his first Fiora of the season. It's been really notable that Smeb hasn't played any Fiora. He's one of the most impressive Fioras in the world. We saw it plenty of times in spring season, but may still see the Fiora, but this is, again, you remember when Afrika Freaks were really struggling and every team was banning Twisted Fate Z against them? Well, Trace is struggling, and banning away Shen and Trundle only helps to amplify the problems for JinAir Green Wings.
Well, Jin going to be taken off the board here by JinAir. We'll see what is going to follow. Vladimir still available. Tigers did ban Cassiopeia in the last game. It's actually going to be Gragas, so there is a good amount available, and Vladimir is going to be the most obvious pickup should they decide to go ahead and pick that up for Kuzan in the mid lane.
Honestly, Achilles, this feels to me like training against Vladimir. This is like the scrim strategy where you ban Galio, Gangplank, and Garen and go against the strongest the enemy team can provide, because Vladimir's power is well known, and I think it's just time to get some more competitive data points playing against a Vladimir. So it's confidence from ROX, but it's the sort of thing that a mid laner like Kuzan, one we respect greatly, can make ROX Tigers punish for.
Yep. Well, they go for the Sivir Braum for the bot lane, so drafting that out the gate yet again. But the Karma still available if JinAir wants to pick that up, something that Shay has played in the past. So could just have that, get that Mantra E, so they can go zipping around the map, put Vladimir into the back line. Of course, we'll have a harder time trying to pop something like the Sivir has that spell shield, can mitigate the Tides of Blood and the Hemo Plague, even if it's timed well enough.
Unlikely that ROX will draft Karma, so if they want to amplify this Vladimir pick, they probably can do it in the next round if they choose to. Pilot could be returning to Ezreal, but for now it seems like Ashe, they want a bit of initiation. Vladimir needs speed and someone else to initiate for him. And okay, we won't see the Karma just yet, but there's the initiation. We've been waiting for the first Alawi, Achilles. Is it time?
I would love to say yes, but I very much doubt it.
I thought Trace would play Alawi.
If there's anybody that I want to see play Alawi, it is Smeb.
Ironically, I thought Trace would play Alawi. It seemed like that kind of hybrid champion that he could really get behind, but
not going to happen.
Probably not.
Will just be the Aurelia coming in now for Smeb, and the Rek'Sai for Peanut. So still something that he can invade with, remain pretty safe with the Tremor Sense, and create some nice unburrow picks for his team.
Will we just see teamfight Nara once again, or will... I don't really like the Rammus because once again true damage means the itemization. Now Sunfire does still do work, so there's an outside chance of the Rammus top, but it hasn't really been a thing in summer season.
Could go for the Kindred. We did see that played in game one there for KT, and it had some a pretty significant amount of success there for them, as Score did just completely go off on that champion.
If we do see this lineup, though, it's basically
1-8
it's also 3.5 dive champions and an Ashe being like, hey guys, could you fight around me, please? So there's a possibility that
they're gonna lock it.
The Kindred will play next to the Ashe, but this is a dive comp from JinAir in team fights and an Ashe to initiate them. Whereas on the side of ROX, we will see actually the Cassiopeia locked in. So
okay.
Gonna go for that punishing lane matchup. Now it's worth noting that Fly wasn't able to make Faker really bleed at all in this matchup. So let's see if Cry can do better against Kuzan.
That is going to be the big one to keep our eyes on here. Whether or not he's going to change that summoner spell, yet to be seen. Still has the cleanse at the moment. Not going to do a whole lot for him outside of cleansing the knockups.
Well, it will cleanse the Ashe Arrow.
The Ashe Arrow is the big one. I mean, there is potential there for the Gnar stun.
Basically, the thing is that Cassiopeia is such short range that whether she's poking or wave clearing, in general positioning, she's going to be at the front of the team. She doesn't have the ability to do anything from far away, so naturally you're going to be a bit of an arrow catcher, so you don't want to itemize for QSS, you want to go for the more selfish stats, so although you don't have the ghost like Faker did in the previous series, Cleanse is pretty much a staple to Cassiopeia.
Alright. Well, Trace doing okay early on in that game, but then suffering heavily in the CS discrepancy, as Smeb was able to get about 50 CS up on him fairly early into the game. We'll see if he's going to have any better luck this time around.
Let's see if JinAir can get any lane pressure. They need some, because otherwise you could see ROX once again running away with the game in the mid game. Cassiopeia should bully the Vladimir, Aurelia should bully the Gnar, so if it gets to that auto push stage. So you have to like things from the Tigers side, but let's see if JinAir can do something different.
Yep, we'll see. We'll find out. ROX can close out with a 2-0. If JinAir fires back, let's go ahead and get right into game 2. And another Mountain Drake. Be the way to kick things off. Well, so far, Cloud has evaded us in this series. And you can see the JinAir fans really trying to instill some confidence with their cheers. Whether or not it's going to work, we'll have to wait and see.
If they lose this second game, Achilles, that would mean that in their last 10, they will be 1 in 10, so 1 and 9. The only team in the league with a worse record than that, unfortunately, is Longzhu.
Yeah.
0 and 10 in their last 10.
Would bring them to a -3 score line as well, I believe. So not quite in the realm of Longzhu and CJ, who are still very much at the bottom of the pit.
But CJ is on the upward ascent, Achilles, and unfortunately JinAir, just like Longzhu, are in freefall.
Yeah. Well, see if they're able to turn things around. Who's on with this Vladimir? Certainly has a lot of playmaking potential onto that very squishy Cassiopeia. And as you mentioned, Fly was not able to make good of that champion pick into the Vladimir just last series.
Yeah, team fights will be really interesting if they're even, but given the matchup, you don't expect them to be. Both teams have a bit of dive about them. You can see Cry and Prey could be, I said Cray almost there. Oh, that's their pairing name, Cray, but playing together. Cassiopeia really good at playing with carries because she has so much peel with the Petrifying Gaze, much harder to make it an initiation tool. So potential for Sivir and Cassiopeia to play together, but there is also that potential for Ashe and Kindred to be grouped. So how team fights play out will be very interesting to track.
I mean, one of the things that really led to Faker's success playing against this Cassiopeia is his innate knowledge of this champion, being able to dodge out those Petrifying Gazes. I mean, we saw several times magnificent dodges, just turning his back, making sure that he wasn't going to get stunned up, and then pushing into the face of Fly, and being able to come out on top of those. I mean, one of his most famous plays against the Cassiopeia, playing on the Riven, just juking to the side, and then going in and killing her underneath that tier 2 tower in mid. So he knows that champion, he knows how she plays, and pretty much when the opponent is going to use that ultimate. The question is, does Kuzan have that level of knowledge going into this matchup? Because I want to say the answer is no.
I think it's slightly less consequential than maybe the casters and you make out, just because, I mean, Cassiopeia's been around a long time, and I think it is very natural to make those stutter steps backwards when you're fighting against a Cassiopeia, understanding the power of a Petrifying Gaze. To me, the more impressive thing is in lane, because remember, it was a lane swap, so it was an isolated Cassiopeia versus Vladimir matchup. You expect there to be some pretty significant harass by the Cassiopeia. So knowing the ranges specifically, to be able to play around things like the Q poison hitting and then the all-ins from the Twin Fang, I think that's the more important thing. I think knowing the ranges in team fights is what really separates playing against Cassiopeia for someone who's a bit more of a rookie and a veteran like Faker.
Well, this is going to hurt a lot for Kuzan. Very early blue buff going over to Cry. So he can really spam out and stack up with this cast.
He does like to overextend for harass though, and Cry is overextended.
Yeah, he's pushing forward. Now here comes Wing. He's going to have a good amount of damage. Peanut's there for the follow-up. Comes in, the TP is going to be matched. by Smeb as he comes through. Double pop-up on the on-burrow there from Peanut. Wing going to be the target. He goes down. Peanut finds the first blood. Now onto Kuzan. Peanut going low. The Sanguine pull there. Going to tick him away, and Kuzan will actually come out of that one with double buffs. So first blood to ROX, but now Kuzan getting some very crucial pickups off that kill.
Yeah, double buff's not the most value for Vladimir. Won't be able to get an auto attack range to trade with the Cassiopeia, but still nice advantage for Kuzan. The big advantage is now the ability to push in the wave and let it reset where he wants to. Looked good, but the counter teleport from Gnar ended up being consequential, and power of Vladimir, even in the early game, on full display.
Yeah. Cry goes back, had to use both of the summoners in that exchange. We'll pick up that tier. The remaining blue buff that he has, he'll be able to stack that up pretty nicely, but he needs to start catching up on CS. He's down by 8 at the moment. And we can see Smeb using that TP first, matched by Trace. He's going to have a very firm lead in this top side. Currently tied, but look how many minions are here for him to pick up.
Right, he's going to be about 10 CS ahead. Already can last hit under turret very easily. So will not lose any of those to the turret. Kuzan goes back and buys the Spectre's Cowl. And again, this is an itemization uniquely available to Vladimir. So in previous metas, you would definitely lose out if you were trying to trade with a Cassiopeia. If you were forced to go into an item like Catalyst and thus Rod of Ages, you would lose out. But as the no-resource Vladimir, you can go Spectre's Cowl, not lose out on anything, and end up doing pretty damn competitively in what should be a tough matchup.
Yeah. See Winged is coming back around this mid side looking for another gank. Standing on the pink ward, so knows that he's safe, and Cry is again pushing very far forward, does not have the flash. The Rek'Sai is there, Peanut arriving, but Trace is already on the roam down. They go straight onto Winged, he does not have the Lamb's Respite. They still come out with the kill. Can they get on the Cry? The Hemoblade drops. Isn't going to be enough damage. Looks like it will be with the pop, and Kuzan will make it out alive yet again, getting a big heal. So they trade back the jungler for the mid, but JinAir is keeping this damn even.
Yeah, really nice timing actually on the gank, because Trace was going to be first to react. He won't lose too many CS to the turret either now that he has a second Doran Blade to last hit with. So nice little play from JinAir.
Gorilla going forward on the pilot. Will get headbutted away by Che. So that should dissuade any further aggression, but still, this is a little bit of a rough spot going for something like the second Doran's Blade. It does help with the last hitting, as you mentioned, but it's really going to delay the items crucial to dealing with that Aurelia in lane.
But speaking of crucial, the fact that both kills have gone over to Vladimir, now 2-0. You look on the ROX Tigers lineup, Sivir short range, Braum melee, Cassiopeia short range, Rek'Sai and Aurelia melee. If Vlad gets big enough, the Hemo Plague and all the AoE from the Vlad himself will do massive damage, and that will allow lower damage dealers like Ashe, who of course more of a utility carry, and the Gnar, whatever build we see from Trace, to do very scary things in team fights. So the fact that the kills have gone over to Kuzan is ideal from a JinAir perspective.
Absolutely. Already has the Spectre's Cowl with those Boots of Swiftness completed. See if he wants to split off, go for something like the Proto Belt early. See though Kuzan pushing forward, the Miasma cutting him off, Peanut comes through. Flash is not available, but he has a Sanguine pull, and that will take him to safety.
Pretty low value there. Unless you open with the Petrifying Gaze, I don't think there's ever going to be enough damage to be able to truly chase down this Vladimir. So think about what this comp does do, and ROX do take Baron very quickly. So around 20 minutes, I want to see JinAir establish vision. They have control of mid lane pressure. They have Gnar very competitive in the top lane, so 20-minute Baron sneak, definitely a real possibility for ROX.
Well, we saw how quickly they took it in that last game. Granted, they did have double Mountain Drake at the time, but Mountain Drake, of course, what's kicking us off. So if they can net that for themselves, that the possibility of that very early Baron goes up significantly. And Peanut looks like he wants another repeat gank. Miasma just keeping Kuzan in here. Can he? Oh, the Petrifying Gaze. Gonna whiff. So unfortunate, and Peanut just wasting a little bit more time roaming around the mid. Still has that CS advantage over top of Wing, so he's not suffering too much.
I just think it's low value pathing.
Oh yeah,
just
for sure.
because
You're not
Petrifying Gaze doesn't do that. It doesn't initiate fights unless the enemy team wants to dive you. And the Vladimir is in such a comfortable spot that there's no upside in making a move like that. So barring a massive mistake from Kuzan, not realistically going to get that initiate. But I guess you could go for a crazy flash play, but Cry didn't even have flash available at the time. So there's no real need. Let Cassiopeia farm up.
And of course, you can't even get really enough damage in to send the Vlad back. He's backing of his own admission here. He has a very comfortable lead in the CS and wants to get that Kindle gem in. But of course, you know, you go in, you get a little bit of damage, you can just sit underneath that turret with the transfusion and get himself back up to full. This does give a little bit of an opportunity for Cry to close the gap, but you see Kuzan still getting back in time to pick up the majority of that wave, so he's still going to be stretching a decent lead as he encroaches on 20 CS up.
Wing just standing on a ward, so
Peanut spotted.
both teams' junglers were standing on a ward, so very unlikely that anything will come of this.
Well, JinAir are really fully committing to this one. They see Peanut and they're just waiting for it. So both teams ignorant to the fact that they are spotted out completely. Peanut at least has the thought that he could have gone up to do the Gromp.
I mean, both teams are there for the counter gank, which is hilarious.
Oh boy, Gage comes out. The air knock gonna connect on the Gorilla, throws out that Glacial Fissure. Spray gets engaged on. Double knock up there by Peanut. Spray taking a good chunk of his HP. Meanwhile, up top, Kuzan finds a kill onto Smeb. And down in bottom, Gorilla falls. Cry now arriving, trying to get on the Pilot. Will be able to burn him out. Can they find another one? The Lamb's Respite there, keeping Winged alive, but they're able to dive in. Nice Petrifying Gaze to lock him up, and he will fall. That's a double kill going over to the Cassiopeia.
Lack of communication between the members of JinAir. Pilot went away from the turret and away from the Lamb's Respite. Would have still fallen, but potential that there wouldn't have been a second kill.
But now...
This was the cost up top. Someone had to die, so it ended up being here. But watch Pilot in particular. He clearly doesn't have the communication about the Lamb's Respite coming down, so it goes forward.
Yeah.
If he had gone backwards, they would have had to DPS down both winged, and they probably would have wasted some DPS into Pilot. So outside chance that only a single kill would have come through.
Yep.
And
But
that
now,
means Drake as well.
yeah, with those kills coming through, they are able to take out the first Mountain Drake of the game. So nicely done by ROX. Still going to be in a little bit of a deficit as far as the CS is concerned. 19 in that mid lane.
Let's reiterate.
They're
First
still
Mountain
looking
Drake.
really good.
First Mountain Drake, Cassiopeia in the mid lane. That Baron threat just got higher.
Absolutely. Didn't get the spot what the next one is.
Looked like a Mountain Drake.
All right, double mountain. I like it. Let's see, Kuzan, good amount of sustain coming through. Really able to win out these trades against the Cassiopeia. So, bit of an interesting choice as far as the counter pick. Does have consistent DPS, but just doesn't seem like it's able to out-harass this Vladimir as you would want to be able to do in this mid side.
Not much that out-harasses a Vladimir, it turns out. We'll be toned down in future patches. We're still on 6.12 this week, but imagine we'll be moving to 6.13 next week.
Did we confirm if it's 13 or is it 14? Might be 14, so we might be even further away from it than we think.
No idea. I'm going to guess 13 and pleasantly surprised. The Cloud Drake situation.
Or very upset.
The support changes on 6.13 will be interesting to discuss.
Well, really, you should hope that it's. You should think that it's 6.14. So when it's 13, then you're pleasantly surprised.
That's actually fair.
Because otherwise, it's like, oh, it's not here yet. Same with the Lulu changes.
Lulu's support's going to be a really fun thing. I'm sure SKT
She hasn't been a support really in forever. I mean, how long has it been? Like a year?
On release, she was
Year and
last
a
a
half?
support. No, about 3 years, actually.
Since she's been used viably as a support?
Yeah.
I felt like it's been shorter than that, but
No, it's been a really long time.
maybe my timeline is just a little bit off. I mean, I know she's been used as a mid primarily for the last little while, but I'm pretty sure we've seen some Lulu supports within that last year and a half.
In 2014, she was like a bad support you wouldn't realistically pick. So honestly, it's back to the days of CJ Blaze going to international events with Graves Lulu pushing bot lane that we've last really seen a meta where Lulu was a serious support pick.
There we go. Let's see the Graves 80 here.
The fun thing about Lulu, I mean, just to, while we have a bit of a lull in the action, is that Karma's been a big pick in the bot lane for pushing and for lane control. Lulu actually does counter with her own ability to wave clear. So
yeah.
I actually like Lulu in that particular matchup, and perhaps increasingly more. Back to this game, though.
Oh boy.
Gank Brush has been enacted.
Yeah, it has. They're going to move forward, though. The pink ward is there. And Cry now in a bad spot, does have that flash and Ghost available. Might have to use this. Jay comes in with a flash. I don't know what he was really trying to accomplish. They're going to get this kill either way, but still a massive misplay. Cry tries to flash out and get himself to safety, but it's not going to work out. Gorilla trying to close that distance on the Kuzan, but he's not going to find a Chilling Smite on the Che, though. Slow him up with the Winter's Bite. He will get concussed, and Prey will find the kill. So all in all, it's going to be a support for a mid pick, but a really sloppy play from Che.
Yeah, JinAir do get a turret in the bottom lane, so they do trade up in terms of objectives. I agree. Che went for a flash headbutt pulverize, was out of range on the pulverize after the flash. So, as you mentioned, just not great on that particular interaction and ended up getting punished by ROX.
But JinAir still making proactive moves, getting that turret gives them a global lead as far as the gold goes. We could see them stretching out just a little bit ahead.
They're very much in this spot in game 1, though. So we'll see if they can translate a little bit better, because the first 20 minutes or so, they were looking quite competitive against ROX in game 1.
Yeah. Honestly, the biggest part of this this gold lead is going to be in the mid lane, where Kuzan has gotten 4 out of 5 kills. But Peanut going in here on a pilot, the arrow comes through, but it doesn't matter because Prey is not taking up that tower. And that is going to be a kill coming in yet again, very easily done by ROX, taking advantage of Che running back from base.
Well, it looks easy. There was a pink ward in the tri-bush that was clearly communicated by ROX, and the pathing from Peanut to actually navigate around that ward was really smart.
Yeah.
Ended up catching Pilot by surprise.
Oh boy.
They're looking for another kill. Che doesn't have ultimate yet.
Neither does Prey, though. TP comes through from Trace. He's going to jump forward, flash away by Peanut. Will take him out of range of that stun. And they will stay safe for the time being. Meanwhile, Winged is holding the fort up in this top side, making sure that Smeb can't shove in towards that tier 1 and try to take out the turret. Kuzan wrapping around as his blue buff's being taken. He finds Cry. He's laying down a good bit of damage. They're really trying to get this blue buff over to him, but looks like Peanut going to have to go ahead and smite that one out.
Not ideal by any means. Smeb doesn't know if he's powerful enough to take down an even-leveled red buff Kindred, and on first indication he's probably right with no Trinity Force.
Yeah. Even if you can whittle him down, getting through the Lamb's Respite is a whole other animal. And now you can see Kuzan feeling so comfortable to just push up underneath this tower, getting harassing on the Cry. The turret shot's not even bothering him at this point.
I mean, he's got Spirit Visage and the Kindle Gem towards the Proto Belt, so he doesn't have a care in the world as Vladimir. And we see Trace going for this build once again, the Sterix Gauge.
Yeah, first item this time. That's really bizarre. This didn't really do much for him last game.
Very peculiar.
I feel like that might actually be the breaking point for JinAir, who are still sitting in this lead. Kuzan's doing very well. Pilot, not so much, but he's not bottoming out. 0-2-1, not the best scoreline, but keeping up in CS. I feel like it honestly might be Trace, if he can't be that tanky frontline in these extended fights, might be the kryptonite of JinAir and cause them to lose this match.
Don't know if it helps him in the 1v1 matchup either.
Yeah.
If he's able to stand toe-to-toe with Aurelia, they have the ability to put Vladimir in a side lane. Cassiopeia always going to be a risky champion to have in a side lane. Doesn't even have Ghost to get away from ganks.
Yeah.
And if Gnar is competitive with the Aurelia, I mean, Pilot's already got the Hurricane, so able to go mid lane.
Oh, the Petrifying Gaze going to be juked out by Kuzan as he goes into that Sanguine Pool. And he is just going to keep being a thorn in the side of Cry in this mid lane. Cloud Drake goes over to JinAir, will be their first pickup.
This is a really good spot for JinAir. They can park Pilot in the mid lane, wave clearing with Hurricane and the volley, and play around the fact that, honestly, Kuzan has the complete run of the lane against Cassiopeia. Maybe we need to redefine how this lane goes, because we haven't been impressed.
Oh, flash forward, gets the equilibrium strike, but it's not the stun, it's just a slow, and Trace will keep himself safe. And JinAir are in a really good spot. 3-0 as far as the turrets are concerned. Now turning their eyes onto this Rift Herald, which should be taken with no contention whatsoever. We can see that Peanut is coming over the wall, spots him with a Prey Seeker, but going in for a steal here with no flash would certainly be a very bold attempt. Is he going to do it? No, just throws another Prey Seeker, but that will be the buff going over to Trace, so he's going to have that up until the 38-minute mark. And JinAir are looking very strong in game 2.
The vision is good this game as well. Pink wards to help out the Nard. Double pink ward on the top side of the map. They haven't been visiting the bot side, so not a cost in that particular area. So much power on Kuzan is definitely having a day out. 4 out of 5 kills going to him. And the moment they rotate him to the side lane, ROX are in that unenviable position. They haven't been able to give blue buff over to Cry, who's now, despite getting some kills, is falling behind in terms of mid-game impact. And in the late game, Cassiopeia really does fall away as a strong pick, barring those perfect fights really coming through. So
this is just, it's such a weird decision to go for the Cassiopeia for me, because A, we haven't really seen the example of why this is a strong pick into the Vladimir, but when we saw KT pick it for Fly, it was because the Anivia wasn't available. They had actually banned it out, and then Faker decided to go for the Vladimir again. So it's just a little bit interesting to me that with Anivia available, Cry still opts to go for this cast that is yet to be proven.
You also have to keep in mind that these matchups evolve. Back in the day, this would definitely have been a counter matchup for the Cassiopeia, but increasingly we're seeing that Vladimir, at his current state, can build Spirit Visage and shake off bad matchups. Anivia no longer has kill pressure on Vladimir in lane the moment he finishes the Spirit Visage. Even the Cowl is a big head start in that, and seems to be the same story with the Cassia.
Uh-oh. Well, this is going to be a 3v3. They just now spot Wing. Shay comes in. The TP going to be popped as is on the hunt. Glacial Fisher comes out, knocks up Shay. Still has that Alistar ultimate. Going to use it now. Peanut picking up at the front line. That stun from Trace is not going to connect, but here comes Kuzan zipping his way down. Gets onto Smeb, pops him for a good chunk of damage. Kuzan pushing forward, gets a Hemo Plague down just onto Peanut. Won't be a whole lot, but the Tides of Blood are just ripping chunks off of Prey and Gorilla. That should be the end of the engage. Both teleports being used by the top laners, and now JinAir. Not really much they can capitalize on. The Dragon, of course, not going to be up for several more minutes. And Baron, not something that they want to go for. So they engage down bot. They come out on top of it as far as the damage goes, and I feel like they got some more summoners out. But, oh, trying to get onto Prey. Nice flash away from that headbutt. Pulverize will keep him safe, but now the bot lane of ROX having no summoner spells whatsoever. Wings coming around the sidelines to try to interrupt that, but Gorilla is there to protect him.
Extra summoner in that flash on Sivir. One thing you didn't note there was that once again Cry had an air ball on the Petrifying Gaze. So again, not convinced about specifically Cry on Cassiopeia. The matchup also seems to be a very manageable one for Vladimir.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern, honestly.
I mean, if the lane matchup is manageable and you get outscaled, which is almost the case with every Vladimir mid lane matchup, that lets you know that you're in a real hole in terms of power when it comes to the difference between the mid lane picks in this game.
Yeah. I think this might just be a misread on the matchup here.
And look, they could still win. We have to remember that.
Oh yeah, they're not so far down that they can't get in. It's only 3,000 gold separating them at 21 minutes. So this is certainly a surmountable lead that JinAir has. But ROX not being able to pick up turrets is going to be the biggest concern. They have that Mountain Drake. They haven't been able to utilize it yet. If they could get those turrets, they would find themselves with a lead.
On Smeb, I think, to do some assassination with the Aurelia. She can still run at Ashe and kill her, and that's not something that JinAir have the most tools to deal with.
Yep. Shay's going to go in for Peanut, buying time for Kuzan to arrive. Does have a good amount of damage, but he can tunnel out, but Trace is waiting on the other side, so he's going to try to Void Rush. Actually, looks like it got canceled. That was weird. And now Trace is coming in. That was really bizarre. I don't know what happened.
There was no CC there, so that shouldn't have interrupted. Maybe
did he misclick?
I'm not sure.
Can you cancel that once you start it?
I want to say no.
That's really bizarre, but there's no pause coming through, so it seems like Peanut knows what happened.
He still has the ultimate available, so theoretically can be back, but we see the Baron started, so 15 seconds till Peanut's back.
This thing's already taken a good amount of damage. Prey will have a nice spell shield on the Crystalline Arrow. JinAir is sticking to this. Trace still on that Meganar form, going to be losing that sooner than later. Huge four-man stun into the wall. Cry trying to fire back with some damage, but he just doesn't have any. Kuzan dashes forward, finds a kill onto Gorilla, gonna find another one. A double kill coming in for Pilot, and JinAir just blew this game wide open. Peanut still in the area, could go for the Hail Mary steal. Smeb the only other person alive. I feel like if you're ROX, you have to go for this steal attempt.
I think Peanut will go for it. He gets interrupted,
Jay is just keeping him busy, and he can't get into the pit in time. That's going to be Baron confirmed for JinAir, not losing a single member in that exchange. Peanut will deny the back, but that's the best that they can do.
Yeah, delayed ace for JinAir, and say what you will about the laning phase from Trace on this Gnar, but this Flash Gnar ultimate was amazing. 4-man onto the enemy side. They didn't quite have the Hemoplague first, but it didn't matter. Enough damage coming through from the Gnar, and Kuzan chasing people left, right, and center. This Cassiopeia has contributed nothing for the ROX Tigers. And take a bow, Trace. You made the pick work.
All right. Well, you just made up for a good amount of misplays that have occurred in the last couple weeks. So very nicely done there by Trace. And JinAir as a whole netting themselves the first Baron of the game here, just 23 minutes in. And now they will get their second Drake, the Mountain, being denied away from ROX. And JinAir are looking pretty well set. Cloud Drake going to be our fourth one poking up, so it looks like we will just go back and forth, mountain to cloud, mountain to cloud.
just feel like after the first pick, Vlad, ROX didn't really take many tools away from JinAir, and it didn't really answer the Vlad either. Vlad, very susceptible to disengage.
Oh, Peanut going to go in here, try to get on the pilot. There comes the jump forward by Gorilla. TP going to be coming in here from Trace, but he does not have a Gnar bar. Lambs despite already down, keeping that Ashe alive for the time being, but they're just firing out with the twin fans. Fangs and Prey will find the first kill. Winged on the run, Peanut on the hunt. But here comes Kuzan pinching in from the back to get on the Trace. They lock him up, they pop him up, and he should go down. But now Kuzan into the fight, throws down the Hemoplague. Will find one onto Gorilla. Prey going to fall as well as Cry. Now Peanut on the run. Can he get out of here alive? Looks like he will be able to do so, but Kuzan is still bloodthirsty, still pushing forward. And in the end, it's going to be a 3-for-2 in favor of JinAir, and they can keep pushing. They have this Baron buff, and now they have that inhibitor tower in their eyes.
Yeah, the item timings just aren't there for ROX to do damage. Cry is completely irrelevant. They're going to take this inhibitor turret down. Respawn times are still low. We're only 25 minutes into the game, so they don't quite take the inhibitor. But everything else going well for JinAir Greenway.
Yeah, this is looking so good for them. Pulling the trigger, having Trey show up with no Gnar bar and still coming out on top of that fight in the bottom side. ROX are just scrambling to be able to do anything, and it's just not working. This Vladimir completely throwing a wrench into the engine.
The item timings are just crazy on the side of JinAir. Black Cleaver and Sterix Gauge with a giant spout was already the build from Trace. Kuzan is a god, 7-0-3, 3.5 items. And Pilot's at that spot with Ashe with 2 items that you need to itemize armor, but at this point, you need magic resist, you need armor, you need about another 20,000 gold for the ROX Tigers to actually be competitive in fights, and even then, you have to like JinAir in the 5v5. They didn't go for disengage, they didn't go for a punishing lane matchup, they didn't hold back Kuzan. I think ROX Tigers are gonna have to lick their wounds because I don't really see.
Oh boy. Well, Smeb gets caught by the arrow. Can Gorilla stop this one? It's not going to happen. Trace arrives on the sidelines just in case. And now they pop up Gorilla, and he is going to go down almost certainly as Wing jumps forward. There it is. The kill coming through a 2-0. Very easily and cleanly picked up, and that's going to be the inhibitor falling in 26 minutes. JinAir looking very poised to take this game out. 20 seconds left on the Braum. 28 on Smeb. They might just go for it. They get on the Prey. They lock him up. The Gnar ultimate comes through, and they take him down. Kuzan playing forward into the front lines. Has that Hemoplague on to Cry. Should be able to finish him off, and there it is with a little bit of flair with that Proto Bell. They take him down. The Nexus turrets are going to fall, and JinAir closing out a game before 27 minutes. What universe are we in? They take out ROX, and they're going to take us to 3 games.
I mean, more importantly, Achilleos, JinAir close out a game. They haven't closed out many games at all in the past 10, so this is a massive season-steadying win for them. And even if they go on to lose the series, they can take a lot of heart in the fact that they return to a lot of the strategies they tried in Game 1. Once again, teamfight Gnar build coming through, going for the Gnar in an unfavorable matchup, but this time they make it work. The Vladimir pick got completely out of hand. ROX could have banned it. They went for a Gragas ban instead. And then they just didn't respect it. They didn't go for disengage. They didn't necessarily punish him in the laning phase. And the moment that Kuzan snowballed, you couldn't handle all the physical damage from the Infinity Edge Hurricane Ashe. You couldn't deal with the 4-item Vladimir at 25 minutes into the game. And just, it came to that stage where I looked at the comps and I'm like, what does a team fight that the ROX Tigers win in the next 20 minutes look like? And I didn't have an answer.
I don't have one either, but what I can tell you is that Kuzan did a hell of a lot of damage. 21,000 and some change on the board at the end of that. Next closest was Cry, but it just didn't seem like he was doing that much.
I mean, Kuzan will be the MVP of this game, but the MVP moment certainly was the 4-man Gnar ultimate from Trace.
Very crucial for turning around that fight, so very good by Trace. And JinAir as a whole finally finding a win, something that they've been lacking significantly in recent times, as you mentioned. And ROX really going to have to go back to the drawing board as far as the pick and ban goes for Game 3. More than likely, banning out the Vladimir, and I would say very comfortably not picking up the Cassiopeia again.
They'll be on the blue side, but the ROX Tigers deserve a reality check. They were too aggressive in Game 1, then they turned on the style. In Game 2, they were disrespectful in pick ban. They made their mistakes. They were punished by JinAir, showing shines of why they have been a top team throughout this season. And it's good to see them pick up a win.
That it is. Well, we'll see if JinAir can close this out or if ROX is going to take the win.